Oh,
I have nothing going.
yeah. All right, guys, so let's look at problem number 1. It says find the quotient of 84 divided by 6. So if you have a calculator, get it out and use it. We don't need to do mental math. If you don't own a calculator, then we have to do it by hand. So to do this by hand, you have to set up long division. So what you're going to do is say, okay, here's my 84. I'm going to divide it by 6. How many times does 6 go into 8? Does it go in 3 times? No, it goes in once. So then you take 1 times 6, you get 6. We subtract it from the 8. You get 2. Exactly, you bring down the 4. How many times does 6 go into 24? 4. So what do we get? D14. I mean, my arrow on there wasn't a giveaway. I'm using like a different program than when I made this, so I can't get rid of, usually I click it and it pops up on PowerPoint, but I have to do this a little different today and I wasn't ready. See, I wish I can I gotta go through and figure out how I can hide them. I got it. I know what to do. All right, so obviously you know the right answer. I want you on your paper to show me how you got the right answer. So what does perimeter mean? What does perimeter mean? Any thoughts on the word perimeter? What do you think, Sarah? Yeah, it's adding up all the outside. Adding up all the outsides, then it's like taking 0.8 plus 1.3 plus 0.8 and adding it all up on your calculator to get 2.9. Okay, so today we're going to do day 1. On Thursday, we'll do day 2. So we're going to do day 1 today. Tomorrow, we'll practice everything we did today. Thursday, you guys at home, you're going to have to watch day 2. So kind of how you're hearing me right now. Thursday, you'll either hear Mr. Mannion or myself, and we'll be talking through the lesson just like this. What you see on the board is what you'll see watching a YouTube video at home. So how many of you can get to YouTube and watch a video? And if you tell me you can't, I know you're a liar because my 5-year-old can get to YouTube and watch a video. So we'll send a link on Microsoft Teams. It'll also be posted on Moodle. And then that will help you be able to see the lesson and hear it and kind of be like you're in here. All right, so what we're going to do now is go over some vocabulary. So the first word we have is variable. So on your paper, you have to copy down the definition for variable. A variable is usually a letter, but it can be a symbol, and it represents a number that we don't yet know. So like in that example, 0.1D, D is our variable, and we don't know what D is. D could be 10, and then you do 0.1 times 10. D could be -1, and you do 0.1 times -1. We just don't know yet. The next part, algebraic expression, it sounds way harder than it is. This is simply adding or subtracting. That 0.1D, that represents an algebraic expression. It's just a math problem. An algebraic expression is a math problem. I'm going to be able to hide my answers on the next one. I typed out the multiple choice for them, didn't I? I made them so long. Next, anybody want to read the definition for me for term? Go ahead, Nevaeh. Yes. Awesome. So, does anybody know what the word product means? What's that a fancy word for? Product is a fancy word for what in math? It's a fancy word for what? Go ahead. Right in front of me is Luke, right? Yes, it's a fancy word for multiplication. So product, yeah, ran out of room. If product is a fancy word for multiplication, anybody want to guess what quotient's a fancy word for? Go ahead, Logan. Yes, it's division. Okay, anybody else need to talk? Anybody want to read the definition of coefficient? Go ahead. I talk all day. Good. Coefficient is the number in front of a variable. So we're going right back to that 0.1D example, right? And 0.1D, 0.1 is the coefficient. Because I think the hardest part of math is not knowing what something means. If I go to you, what's the coefficient of 10x? What's the coefficient of 10x? You now know what coefficient is. Coefficient is the number in front. So 10x blank is the coefficient. So what's the answer? What goes on that blank? Any guesses? Go ahead. So that would be the answer in the first problem. Look at my new problem. I wrote down 10x now. So what's the coefficient for 10x? Not trying to trick you. I'm just creating a new example. I got to make sure we know what we're saying. So 10. Answer's 10. All right, next example. Write an expression that is verbally able to tell me what 8x squared means. So what that means is when it says write a verbal expression, all I want you to do is put that into words. So you are going, like I said, 8x squared. So the verbal expression, or putting that into words, is writing 8 times, because these two are being multiplied together, x squared. So you're taking what's basically a problem and you're writing it down in word form. Pretty easy, right? Let's try it again. Now, this one's a little trickier because there are how many parts to the problem? 1, 2. When something is raised or the number is tinier and up high, we say that it's a power. So this little 5 is a power. It's an, or another word for power is exponent. So first week back to school in math is usually a lot of vocab. That first week back to school math is usually a lot of vocab. So in terms of words, this would look like the difference. So the word difference is another way of saying subtract. In algebra, we try not to use the word minus anymore. Minus is a little elementary school. So you guys aren't in elementary school anymore. You're in high school. You are grown up. So we'll say the difference, which is a fancy word for subtraction, of y. So that's that first y right here. And then remember I told you we call it a power. So there's the number 5. So it's y to the 5th power. The and represents where that symbol goes. So the and is for like this minus sign right here. And that also goes along with the difference. And then we have the last part. And it's 16 times y. And that's this part right here. So guess what? I know my PowerPoint's going to tell you the answer to the multiple choice because I've used up, right? So I want you to take like 3 minutes. I want you to read those 2 problems and try answering them on your own first. That was super fast. I have a handout. I wish I had Jeopardy music. I should. That would be so easy in here. Ready? We could probably do it real quick. It's gonna be forever stuck in your heads all day and day now. I don't know this part. Oh, definitely. Now she's gonna go make that on TikTok. All right, you guys ready to go over this? All right, so before I put up the answers, how many of you picked letter A for the first problem? How many picked letter B for the first problem? Okay. How many picked letter C? Ooh, okay. How many picked letter D? Should we find out? Should we find out what the answer is? The answer is C. All right, so let's talk about what the difference is between, because everybody kind of picked between C and D. So the main difference is which power is the right power. The power is the number the variable is being raised to. So let's go back and talk about that vocabulary words. What's the variable in this problem? What represents the variable? What's our variable? What do you think, Sarah? A. Fantastic. So if I ask you on a quiz, what is the variable? Your answer is A. All right, let's get a little trickier. What's the coefficient? Let's see how good I can spell. It is. So you got the definition right. Now you tell me the coefficient. Awesome. It's 7. So the coefficient is the number before the variable, and the variable is the letter in our problem. The power is the exponent. It's what it's being raised up to. So up high in the sky is a 4. So we're looking for one that says 4th power, which is answer choice C. Okay, let's cheat a little. We'll zoom in so you guys can't see the answer on the next page. Unless it's A, then we're in trouble. No, hey, still zooming. All right, letter B. Write a verbal expression for x squared plus 3. So I almost said it, right? But before we do this, what's the variable? Nevaeh, what's my variable? Good. All right, Miss Abigail, what did you get for an answer? Okay, so that's 1 in the D column. So we got A, B, C, and D. All right, Trayvon, what did you get? Okay, good. Did you say B or D? B as in boy? Okay. Jacob, if you don't want to tell me in words, give me a 1 for an A, 2 for B, 3 for C, and 4 for D. All right. Ezra, right? Is that your name? I can't see your eyeballs to know if I got it right. Is it Ezra? And what did you get? All right. Luke? Was that B or D? All right. These masks are killer. Logan? Okay. All right, let me think. And I know your name. Do you remember your name? It's been blanked all day for me. Hold on. So I got Sierra Nevaeh. And then nope, Zoe? Yeah. All right. Zoe? All right. B as in boy. Nevaeh? All right. And Sierra. All right. So we're almost split pretty evenly. We got 5 Ds, 3 Ds. So let's compare those two answers. So correct was D. So do you know what the difference was? The difference is the words right here. What does product mean? It means multiplication. And here it's the word sum. So what do we think sum means? Go ahead, Nevaeh. Yeah, sum is a word for addition. Awesome job, guys. So that's it for today. This is for Thursday. So what you're going to do now is we probably have about 15 minutes. You're going to work on the very next page in your packet. And you're only working on that next page. If you finish that page, then you have no homework for tomorrow.